All right, so let's look at 10.4. For expedience sake, I've already created a rocket. I've already got the rocket to orbit, and we're now ready to calculate energy levels. So let's go ahead and see where our rocket is at. So here we are. We've got the rocket. It's in a fairly stable orbit, a periapsis of 94,461, an apoapsis of 192,198. And now, if you look at what it asks here, it wants us to record the altitude and velocity. It says this doesn't have to be at the apoapsis, but we want an orbit that's fairly far from the planet. So I'm going to basically make our orbit a little bit more eccentric here. We're going to make it a little bit more oval shaped, less round. So I'm close to the periapsis, so I'm going to fire prograde, which will send the apoapsis further away from the planet. So we're pretty close there. Let's give it just a little boost. That looks good. All right, now it says we want to go until we're fairly far from the planet. So let's come around here. We'll pick a spot. That looks pretty good. And let's go ahead and zoom in and look at our velocity. So our velocity is 1,380 meters per second, and our altitude is 785,000 meters. So we could go ahead and use those for our altitude and velocities. Next, you need to calculate your G value and potential energy and kinetic energy at that point. Once you got your potential and kinetic energy, you got them together, get total energy. Now it says go in orbit until you're closer to the planet. And we're going to calculate some values at this point. So, again, we're going to fast forward some. We'll go over here, say. Looks pretty good. All right. And at this point, we have a velocity of 2,318 meters per second and an altitude of 222,000 meters. And we can use those for the points in number 10. Find our G value, potential energy, kinetic energy, total energy, and then let's find out if these two are similar or not. Don't forget that when you're finding the total distance from the center of the planet, you have to add the radius on to your altitude because we have to account for the thickness of the planet also. And the G value at the surface is 9.81 meters per second squared. All right, so that's what we need for 10.4.